You're listening to Let's Stay Together, a podcast about Fruits Basket by Natsuki Takaya. I'm Ellen.
And I'm Kayla.
And today we're discussing chapters 110 and 111. Or 11T0 and 11T1? I don't know. I like how our current intro is just like, we're going to talk about this. And then you're like, yay. Then I'm like, yay.
I mean, it's accurate.
Yeah, we finally standardized our format. That's what it is, I guess. Only took 55 episodes. We're going to do our summary discussion and spoiler discussion like we always do. Speaking of standardized formats, let us get into it. So, chapter 110. It's Golden Week, so the kids are all chilling at home while Shigure is out. Yuki brings Tohru a towel to wipe the table down, and she absentmindedly bumps Kyo's hand with it on the table. And remembering their hug through the sheet the other day, they both freak out. Toru's like, I'm so sorry, and Kyo's like, don't worry about it. Kyo offers to wipe the table, and she's like, okay, and Yuki, who can't take the suffocating awkwardness any longer, suddenly remembers something that he had to do and bails out. Tohru flails, and Kyo's like, what's with him? Out on the streets, Yuki doesn't give a shit if it looked like he ran away, and he wonders if this is what it's like to be a son in between her mother and a new boyfriend. A woman notices him passing by and calls him Ayame, and he clarifies that Ayame is his brother. Wow, so he had a brother, the woman says. At Shigure's, Tohru blushes and fidgets, and like that time she struggled internally to talk to Shigure about the curse and stuff, she offers to make tea, and Kyo doesn't want any. She sits. He asks if she'd like to go out, and she's like, oh, yes. Excuse me? And then she says that they need eggs, and he's like, it's just an errand. Oh, well, whatever. If you think of somewhere else you want to go on the way, just tell me. Just being able to go out with you makes me very happy, she says, blushing and smiling a small smile. And Kyo turns subtly and punches the wall, and she asks if he's okay. What about you, he thinks. Is it really okay for you to be so damn cute? And am I a perverted old man for thinking that? We cut away to a cafe. Uo serves Hana and Megumi. Oh dear, what's this I feel? Hana says. I sense that Kyo-soma has been reduced to a perverted old man and is after Toru. What a terrible feeling. Uo's like, he wouldn't be able to lay his hands on her anyway. It's impossible for him right now. And Megumi is like, should I curse him for now? Elsewhere, Yuki visits Ayame's shop. Ayame greets him with the usual exuberance and some kind of elaborate dress. My, how glorious for you to have come. I wonder if you also felt the ray of a shooting star that streaked through my heart at the time that I received your call of love. And Yuki is like, I can't say that I did. Ayame continues, now remove your shoes and come into my house, post haste, and may you fly immediately to my bosom. Be not timid. Come. Yuki asks him for greeting him in the outrageous outfit. Mina greets him as well and offers to make tea, but they're out of tea. She goes out to get some, and Yuki freaks out because she'll be going out on the streets in her maid outfit, and Ayame clarifies that she's a bit of a local celebrity. Her form spreads the fantasy known as a fanboy crush throughout the stale modern society. I get it. Thank you, Yuki says. Mine now gone, Ayame asks if Yuki has accomplished his goal of seeing a girl in the bath, of course, and Yuki is like, that's not my goal. Yuki clarifies what he really came to discuss, the woman that he met earlier, another high school student council president who knew Ayame. Ayame suddenly stands and panics and says that he must go apologize. He grabs a giant Mogeta thing with the word talisman written on it. Yuki says that she's probably not still where he saw her, and Ayame sits despondently and says that he's probably right. Yuki asks what's wrong. Once upon a time, Ayame says, there was a beautiful white-haired student body president. He had such regal airs that he was unable to fully conceal his overflowing charisma. He charmed many students, and there was no end to their attraction. The way the president lived implied that such was a matter of course. At the time, countless events were held to deepen a friendship with an all-girls school, and inevitably he worked with the president of said girls' school. However, he didn't understand the young lady. He had no idea that she had special feelings as she continued to have contact with him. He was completely unaware. And it wasn't only in regard to this girl. He didn't understand the feelings of any other people at all. He didn't even try to know. He did a very cruel thing. Ayame remembers meeting the girl late in their final year of high school. Shigure and Hatori stand by. The girl says, the events are all over, and we're in third year, so we'll graduate soon. So I like you, Ayame-kun, and I always have. Is that so? Ayame says with a smile. Thank you very much. Please continue to be in good health after graduation. And the girl is like, huh? Ayame turns away to leave. Oh, and one last thing, he says. What is your name? I don't mind remembering it in commemoration. My name? She asks, embarrassed and angry. But I told you that ages ago. Is that so? I'm terribly sorry, but I've completely forgotten. I wonder if it might be because you have so little personality that you couldn't leave an impression. It's like a one-man sumo wrestling match, Shigure chuckles. Yes, you put it wonderfully, Gure-san, Ayame adds. It is indeed as though she's fighting a one-man sumo match. But not to worry, at least now you've recognized your flaws, and now you can be— Stop it, Hatori says, pounding a railing nearby with his fist. Haven't you done enough? Ayame looks back at the girl who's dropped all her things. I'm so stupid, she says. cries, and runs off. Ayame is genuinely confused. Why is she crying? Probably because you hurt her, Hatori says, picking up the girl's things. Really? Are you saying I did something wrong? Ayame asks. It's not an issue of right or wrong. It's that people get hurt. Out there are people who get hurt, Hatori says. Ayame narrates that he didn't understand that at the time. He would look back on it sometimes. It made him wonder, had he lived his life overlooking many extremely important things? Was it Mine-san? Yuki asks in the present. Did she help you realize that? Ayame doesn't respond immediately, but Yuki asks if she's his girlfriend. Ayame says he never said that, and Yuki says he can tell. Ayame smiles and confirms. Indeed, that girl appeared before me by chance. She began to work with me, and I was happy to be with her. We see a memory of his confession to Mine. I have no positive proof that I can make you happy, he says to Mine, who sits in front of him. But if I told you I love you, I can't help but wonder, will you disappear? My happiness is my decision. Don't worry, Mine won't disappear, she says, and smiles a soft smile. Mine's heart belongs to her manager, so I want to be here forever. Is that all right? He kneels in front of her and cups her cheeks. Thank heavens, he says. I was terribly afraid you might reject me. Ayame suddenly understands what happened when he was in high school. Mine asks if he's sad about something. He rests his head on her shoulder, he cries, and she comforts him. In the present, Ayame wishes he could have apologized, but perhaps it's too late, he says, standing. I embody her trauma. Perhaps I appear in her dreams every night and cause her suffering. How miserable. Yuki says that the woman wasn't sad or angry in their meeting, though it seems like she had a husband and a kid with her. Maybe you did scar her for life. But she went through a lot of things, and she can still smile like she did in front of me. She's probably a really strong person. She probably trudges right through things, Yuki says with a reassuring smile. Wait a moment, Ayame says. Does that mean that I have no need to apologize to you? You apologize to me? Yuki asks. For what, being insane? Never mind, Ayame says with a relieved smile. Yuki is like, I'm sure you have many reasons for not telling anyone about Mine-san, but does she know about you being possessed? Ayame picks up the mogeta and points to it. This writing, although apparently in existence since the item's creation, was actually placed here by me. And Yuki is like, did you tell her? Did she find out? Before Ayame can answer, who was obviously avoiding the subject, Mine returns with Kakeru. Mine-san, behind you. There's something behind you, Yuki says. Kakeru is like, what the heck, you did you forget about me already? And Yuki is like, I know I'm always asking this, but why are you here? Kakeru says he ran into Ne-san, as he calls Mine. Ayame greets him. Yuki sighs. I didn't think I was into it, but maids are pretty hot, Kakeru says, striking a pose. Men are such sad creatures, and Yuki is like, speak for yourself. Kakeru says he'd totally geek out if Machi weren't something like this, and Yuki sasses him that he's her big brother. They grab each other's collars. Ayame asks why Yuki would go gaga for yellow, as he calls her, and Kakeru whispers to Ayame and Mine. Call her, the three say, and Ayame holds out his phone. Yuki sighs and says he's starting to feel sorry for her. Elsewhere, we see that Tohru has decided on another place to stop at on their errand. The cat store, ? It says, like, cats on the sign. And the cats are all going crazy in the window, and Tohru says that he's so popular. Kyo says they're annoying, and some passersby think he's the cat master. In the last scene of the chapter, Machi hugs the Mogeta talisman at Ayame's shop. Mine's eyes gleam as she offers outfits to her. He'll be a total fanboy no matter what you wear, you know? And he'll become a messenger to save the earth with fanboy power, Ayame adds. And Yuki's like, I better put an end to this. And Kakeru's like, an end to what? As he lounges on the couch. And that's the end of the chapter. This was the break that we needed after all the other stuff.
Nice lighthearted chapter.
I had a lot of fun writing this one. I love how Ayame just ignores the question.
Yeah, he ignores it, but Yuki's just like, this is obviously, it means yes.
Yes. I love Machi holding the Mogeta also. It's really funny. And Kakeru, and everybody referring to each other. He calls Kakeru, we'll talk about it. That's fine. Let me go do this chapter first. In chapter 111, it opens with Shigure visiting Akito, who hides away in her room. Do you think that if you stay in there, the world will become what you want it to be? He asks her. Kureno returns at the time and Shigure glares at him as he leaves. I know, it's such a glare. He, like, looks back over his shoulder, like, he's definitely,
Shigure's seething unjustified hatred for Kureno is so funny.
It is. He's the, like, dramatic, like, side character in Kimi's shoujo manga.
Yes.
I hope I cut that into whatever discussion that we had. I'll probably have to put it in the other one. It was really funny. Yeah, he has, like, super side-eye over his shoulder at Kureno when he's leaving. Akito wonders why Shigure is always so cold. In the hallway, Shigure looks disheartened. So he's, like, done being sassy and looks very sad, actually. He thinking like that won't help. Time is moving on and leaving you behind. People and feelings, too. At school, the girls gawk and stare. Is it a new foreign student? No, it's post-glow Momiji starting down the hallways looking hot. That's written HAWT in my notes for everyone who needed clarification. He catches up to Tohru and asks if they can walk home together, and she says she'd love to. The other girls look on Momiji proudly. Not too long ago, he was some kid running around like crazy eating ice cream and lollipops and wearing a bunny backpack, and Momiji turns to reveal that he's still wearing his bunny backpack and takes off, holding Toru's hand, saying, "Let's get popsicles on our way home! Ice cream, ice cream!" And the girls are like, huh? Momiji comments on how everyone is staring, and Toru says it's because he grew and became so handsome, like a prince. Momiji says it was fun being small. "But I am a man after all," he says, and squeezes her hand. They see Yuki and Haru in the hallway, and Haru comments that no matter how you look at it, they look like a couple, and Yuki's like, yeah, people can misunderstand that. Yuki doesn't have student council duties, so they all decide to hang out at Shigure's house, and Momiji suggested they buy ice cream cake, and Toru is like, ice cream cake? And Yuki's like, I'm guessing you've never had it. Haru's like, a piece of her brain is saying it's incredibly expensive. I love this so much. So enthralled. Okay, at home, Kyo is surprised to see Kisa sitting at the table. Pardon us, she says, and Hiro shows up and sasses Kyo to stop intimidating Kisa. Hiro explains that they came to see Tohru, and Shigure let them in as he was leaving. Kisa stands and says hesitantly, hello. And Kyo's like, hello. He says Tohru will be home soon and goes upstairs. Kisa says to Hiro excitedly, I greeted him and he greeted me back. And Hiro's like, yeah, I saw. Kisa says that Kyo is really nice, and he always seems nice to Tohru. Hiro thinks back to him bonking her head at the beach and says, I guess. At the main estate, Hatori asks if Shigure ever tires of saying mean things to Akito. And Shigure is like, what's all this? You appear out of nowhere and start this lecture? Hatori is like, this is my house. And I get the feeling that every time you see Akito, he shuts himself off even more. Are you serious? Is that like super bad? Shigure says. And Hatori is like, it pains me that we're the same age. See, this is what I'm saying. He's the side character in Kimi's show.
This is a very Kimi moment there.
It was... I feel like he just channeled Kimi for a second. He became possessed by Kimi in this scene.
He's no longer the dog of the Zodiac. He's the Kimi of the Zodiac.
Kimi is her own Kimi. Everybody knows that. Hatori tells him to stop competing with someone younger than him to see who's more stubborn. Even from my perspective, he says, you sometimes look like you hate Akito with all your heart. Shigure remembers Kureno sassing him to be nicer and Akito complaining for him to be nicer as well. Shigure suggests that his niceness is just thrown together, not genuinely kind like Hatori. He wonders why that is. He says he never even really wanted his parents' love, and it doesn't bother him that much that he's possessed. If he calls being twisted, then I guess I really am, he thinks. The fact that I can't even think of that as sad. Huh. Maybe that's a very lonely thing itself. Maybe someone like me should have dreamed of, he says out loud and then trails off. Oh, well, I'm a jerk by nature. What can you do? If Akito wants your tolerant kindness or Kureno-kun's innocent kindness from me, that would just be ridiculous. It's not like I want to be that kid's father, he says to Hatori. At Shigure's house, meanwhile, Yuki wonders about dinner, and Momiji wants barbecue. Yuki interrupts Tohru and Kisa's hug-a-thon, which I'm sure has been going on since the time that they got home from the house.
You can see their little hearts in every panel leading up to the...
It's adorable, first of all, and wonderful in many ways. And like how they have to like interrupt her, and Yuki's like, hello, and then she like looks over at him as if they didn't notice anyone else. The house isn't equipped for a barbecue, but Haru has a good suggestion. This'll burn nicely, he says, patting the table, and Yuki and Hiro are simultaneously horrified. Toru wonders where Kyo is, and Kisa says that he's in his room. She suddenly remembers what Shigure said, and Toru suddenly remembers what Shigure said before about asking the Zodiac if they knew that he'd be locked up, and tears up and shakes her head violently. Momiji asks what's wrong, and she mentions Kyo, and then he goes to get him. While Kisa pats a swirly-eyed Toru, Hiro asks Yuki and Haru if Kyo likes Toru, and Yuki asks if that's such a bad thing, and Hiro's like, well, crap, the cat is, and then he kind of trails off, and Yuki and Haru stare at him. Hiro, you've got a way of crossing bridges that everyone else avoids, don't you? Haru asks. Yeah, I know, he says. It's not like I'm against it. I'm just, like, worried, I guess. Though maybe it's a little late for that. And the three look over at Toru. Upstairs, Momiji tells Kyo... That's on the next page. I had to skip and cut it around. Mm-hmm. Upstairs, Momiji tells Kyo about dinner. It's okay, we switched to curry. And Kyo thinks, I don't know what that means, but I'm not going to bother asking. Kyo says that he's gotten big. Momiji says that maybe he'll be bigger than Kyo someday. And then maybe Toru's going to accept when I propose. Kyo looks pissed. Come on, if you give up, that kind of thing might happen, Momiji says. It's not good to give up. That's why I'm going to stop trying not to think about it. I'm not going to give up on the cat. It's pretty late for that kind of thing, Kyo says sadly. I know it's late, Momiji says. That's why we should think about it in simpler terms, you know? If Toru was taken away by another man, wouldn't you regret it? Kyo's hand twitches. Look, he starts to say, but Momiji runs off, proclaiming that he needs to help with dinner. Wait a minute, Kyo thinks, panicked. Does this mean everyone knows? Does everybody know? I love it when Kyo panics. It's wonderful. Later, Shigure returns home and finds all the kids cooking curry in a large pot in his yard. What an odd feeling, coming home to your own house and seeing food relief being given out in your yard. Daddy's home, children, he says. And Hiro's like, what is he talking about? And Yuki's like, ignore him. He's an idiot. Shigure sits on the porch and talks to Tohru, who stands. Still doing your best, he asks. And she's like, yes. Maybe you, he says. Maybe I should have dreamed of you. Maybe someone like me is exactly the kind of person who needs someone like you. Or so I've been thinking these days. Tohru's surprised. Shigure leans in close. I'm just speaking hypothetically. He backs up and points to the plate she's holding. At any rate, I like a medium serving, he says, and she's like, eh. At Shisho's house, Kagura visits Rin. Haru called her to come over to Shigure's, and Kagura's like, you should have gone, and Rin is like, shut up, I would have gone if I'd known that you were coming here. Kagura is like, are you still in your rebellious phase? Should we stay up all night and argue? And Rin is like, cut the crap and leave. And Shisho, who's sitting nearby, is like, make yourself at home, Kagura. The sun now set, the kids all depart from Shigure's house, and we see his thoughts and narration, similar to his earlier in the chapter. Time is moving on, people and feelings too. Kyo looks over at Tohru and she smiles at him. Shigure sits alone looking out into the night, and we see Akito alone in her room. His narration ends, I really wish you'd just hurry up and join us, and the chapter closes on Kyo and Tohru standing side by side. That's the end!
Yay.
Yay! Oh, an actual yay instead of a yay.
Yeah.
Like the last couple chapters.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 relatively lighthearted chapters.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Shigure was kind of an asshole in the second one, but the part with all the kids was cute.
Yeah, it's more of a darkness lingering in the background rather than front and center like it has been.
Yes. A background darkness, not a full-on darkness.
Yes. Not, someone tied up and starving in the cat's room.
Yeah, people
darkness.
getting thrown out of windows, etc. Yes. When you mention darkness, our thoughts immediately go to Rin, obviously. Yeah, it was cute. These were nice. I appreciated them in the middle of this, after all this darkness. I especially appreciated. I don't know, actually both of them were funny. They both had their great, I don't know which one I preferred, but that's fine. That's for me to care about, I guess. I like the ones where they have, like, all the kids, like, all the chapters where there's, like, Kyo, Yuki, Tohru, Haru, and then, like, sometimes Hiro and Kisa and, Momiji. Those ones are always fun. So it was nice. Like Haru's suggestion of burning Shigure's table.
Yeah.
I mean, in the manga, it was
nice
already
to
crushed,
see,
so,
Yeah.
Or in the anime.
Yeah, it's like a narrowly avoided property damage.
Yes. Everything's fine. You can tell that everyone's really maturing because there was no property damage. Not even at Shisho's, where Kagura was.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice seeing all the, like, different little relationships the kids all have.
Yeah. And Kisa and Tohru's hug that never ends.
Yeah.
Spread across multiple panels. I didn't even notice that. I need to look at it now.
Yeah, like literally there's like a sky panel and you can see some hearts at the bottom of it, and then like while the other characters are talking, you can see the hearts in the background.
Yeah. In the background. I love that they're in the background. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And like out in the sky. It's great. We haven't seen Kisa in a long time. It was nice. So she has this little scene where she greets Kyo and he like greets her back. It was very cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. I always like that little scene. It's like
she's like, he was nice. He's nice.
Yeah. She's like, Tohru likes him and he's nice to Tohru, so I want to be nice too.
And then she's like, he was really nice to me. It's like, oh honey.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, continuing, like, it's not even really a gag, but just, like, Kyo's always coming home and being like, why is this person in my house?
I was looking at the dialogue, because in English it's like, she's just like, hello, and then he's like, hi, which makes sense. In the Japanese version, she says konnichiwa, and he says konnichiwa. And I was just like, that's weird. I guess he doesn't really never say that ever. Like, usually like, when he sees people in the morning, he's just like, what the fuck are you doing here? Or like, what the hell's happening this early in the morning in the house? Like, I don't know. Like, so it was kind of cute. I feel like it's an extra layer of cuteness.
Yeah.
From him, where, yeah, he never says that. He just shows up and is like, what the fuck? Basically, that's his number one greeting. I feel like. So.
Yeah. Like, he's like, I wasn't trying to intimidate her. I just didn't know why she's here.
I was just here. Yeah, exactly. But she is clearly intimidated. It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's just funny because Kyo is so nice. It's like,
yeah.
He's not the mean one.
He's not trying to be mean.
No.
It's just his face is just like that.
It's like RBF. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying? He's not bad. He's just drawn that way.
Yes.
We talked about the horrifying shoe dip scene, I think, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. It was cute. This is what I have in my notes. Fluff. That's the first note.
Yeah.
We even got Ayame Mine fluff. This is like, I guess, confirm. I forgot that we haven't talked about this before, that they're an item. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but this is the... Well, there was the little hints at this scene that was shown in full here, his, confession scene. So
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious from her first appearance, but...
so obvious even Yuki noticed.
Yeah, but, on-page confirmation.
Yes, yeah. His confession is very sweet, where he's like, I don't know if I can make you happy, but...
Yeah.
It's very... I don't know. It's cute. Of all the sort of, confessions that we've seen, various variety of confessions, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. They're cute. I enjoy them. I think they're
cute.
One of my favorite of the, background ships that get, just a tiny bit of attention.
Yeah. Mine calls Yuki little brother, or whatever, which is cute.
Yeah.
Ototo. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, welcome, Ototo-kun.
Yes. It's very cute. So she already calls him little brother. I guess because Ayame calls him that. It's really sweet. There's something very sweet about it.
Yeah.
I like our Kakeru calls her Nei-chan or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the little tiny notes. It's like they're acquainted.
Yes. They're acquainted from when they came to school and measured them for costumes, apparently.
Yeah.
Mine and Kakeru are acquainted from that time. There was a little teeny flashback.
Yeah. He also calls her vice commander in the in
Right.
that little scene.
I think she is a vice commander. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy the background sort of canon that Kakeru keeps in touch with Ayame, and they have a whole thing going on.
Yeah.
We talked about how we can't imagine what their emails or threads are like.
Yeah. Ayame apparently knows the student council by name and color.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I like how they're the scene where they're call her is so amazing. Where Kakeru, I guess, tells him about Yuki's developing relationship with Machi.
Yeah.
It's very cute. I like how he doesn't deny it or anything either. He's just like, ugh, whatever,
Yeah, it's like he obviously does call her since she's there at the end.
Yes. Well, he didn't want to go back to see Tohru and Kyo.
Yeah.
So...
He's like, I guess this is the lesser evil.
I like how they've spent...
Somehow this is less awkward than...
Yes. I feel like they must have been hanging out at Ayame's shop for a long time, because Yuki shows up, Mine leaves, she comes out with Kakeru, and then they wait for Machi to come, and then they're all hanging out.
Yeah.
Seems like a good time.
Kakeru's
Machi actually came.
Yeah, Kakeru's lounging, eating donuts.
Yes. Yuki's like, I should stop this, and he's like, stop what?
Yeah.
The greatest show on earth? I mean...
Like how she doesn't even look that troubled, Machi. She's got her Machi face on, but she's just kind of like, I guess this is happening.
Yeah. Also, she was holding the Mogeta. They distracted her with Mogeta, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, they distracted her with Mogeta, and then she was fine with it, obviously.
Yeah.
We finally found out about Ayame and the girl from high school.
Mm-hmm.
This was foreshadowed a long time ago.
Yeah, we saw the panel of the girl crying, saying, I'm so stupid. I think in the...
And Hatori, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and Hatori saying, stop it, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a brief part of that scene that we
It's in a mix of him being these are all the terrible things I've done in flashback form. And
they're all about Yuki and then her.
Yeah, Yuki stuff, and then this girl, yeah.
At the time, we were just and then a girl, anyway, and just glossed over it, I'm sure. But it's revealed.
Yeah. And we also saw, I think even earlier than that, the scene of him, resting his head on... Mine's shoulder.
Yeah. I think probably the first time when he goes to the shop. Maybe. Because Ayame was talking about all his flaws and whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It's cute.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So harsh.
Yeah.
So much trauma. Well, I remember the scene being very harsh, and then I was reading through it again, and I was like, wow.
Yeah. I guess
Ow.
Shigure is just like laughing, and Hatori's like, "Could you not?"
Typical. I know.
Yeah.
Shigure is like,
Hmm. Yeah.
completely in character.
But it is, yeah. But it does show like Ayame's like state of mind back then, because he's like genuinely surprised that she's like so upset by
Yeah.
it. Like
You can tell that it's like genuine surprise.
he really wasn't trying to be mean.
Yeah, no.
It's just how he was.
Yeah, he just didn't empathize with other people at all.
Yeah.
And nobody made that clear to him that was important in his life. The thing that Hatori says where he's just like, there are people who get hurt, it's just kind of like, it's like not about you, you know, not everything's about you. Because I like how Ayame is like, did I do something wrong? And it's like yeah, but it's not really, I guess like the learning is like, you know, no matter what you do, you can hurt people. Like that's kind of, anyway, the way that I choose to interpret what he told him.
Yeah, it's like there's not like a right wrong in every situation, but you should be aware of how your actions are going to affect other people.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was harsh. So it was harsh.
It's like, it's good she can laugh about it now.
I don't know if she could laugh about it, but I think Yuki was just being reassuring. I mean, I feel like if you were in high school and then you moved on and had a relationship with someone and, you know, had a kid with them or whatever, and then you'd be like, man, that one time that guy was such an asshole. Yeah. That would be the story that you tell at parties where you'd be like...
Yeah, I think you would like laugh about it and you'd be like, man, that was so embarrassing.
I know. You would get really drunk at your company Christmas party and tell your best friend, like, hey...
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about that time this guy was an asshole to me in high school?
Like
and they would be like, okay, no way! And that's what it would be like.
It's like, everyone share your worst relationship stories.
No, let me tell you. This happened to me recently at a dinner. Where everyone was like, oh, no, wait, listen to this thing that happened to me. So, yeah, it would be like that. I mean, Ayame's... he was just... It's not even like... Like, I guess it could come across like he's full of himself, but it's, like, not even... It doesn't even seem like that. It's just, like, he just doesn't understand other people at all. He's no empathy.
He's also kind of the... I don't know if that was necessarily the start of it, but, like, his, like, respect for Hatori and his point of view, even when he, like, doesn't really listen to other people.
I don't know. It's not like we see a lot of their relationship, but it doesn't... We talked before about how it didn't seem like, for example, like, Ayame and Shigure were particularly, like, close emotionally. Like, they... I think kind of like entertain each other.
Yeah.
But I don't... It's not like Shigure goes to Ayame for advice, and it's not like Ayame goes to Shigure for advice or anything like that. But like, it's like not like Hatori goes to either of them for advice. I mean,
yeah.
But I think, yeah, we've obviously seen like Ayame's respect for Hatori, so maybe it is like because Hatori made something very clear that he didn't understand. So I could definitely see that being like the time where he was like, huh, Hatori knows some shit.
Yeah.
Hatori sees something that I don't understand at all. So
it's like, maybe I should listen to this guy more often.
Yeah. This guy's smart. Speaking of Hatori, there was also a great scene of Hatori sassing Shigure about Akito, which I enjoyed very much.
Shigure's like, what, you just show up and start lecturing me? He's like, this is my house.
He's like, and I wish you would go away.
Yeah.
The scene is interesting, though, with Shigure. I feel like we got an interesting insight into his character.
Yeah, perhaps. It's a very interesting Shigure chapter. It's the most, like, internal we've seen.
Yeah, it's true. It's the most in his own... Yeah, he doesn't... Because that chapter is kind of bookended by Shigure's narration. So...
Which I'm not even sure if we've ever seen him narrate.
No, I was
before.
just thinking.
Yeah.
When you said it's the most internal thing about him or focused on him, I was like, oh yeah, I guess not, because usually he's just having his act or where he's being funny and nice to Tohru or teasing Kyo or whatever, or it's him being an asshole to Akito. That's like primarily how we see him, or to Kureno. Sometimes. Or to Tohru, like in the 2 chapters ago or whatever. Or being a creep to Tohru, like in this chapter. I mean, what? Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of vague, or I don't know, maybe mysterious is a good way to describe it. Like he's just kind of like, I guess just talking about how like personal relationships just don't mean that much to him, and it doesn't bother him that he's cursed, and like he doesn't even really have a close relationship with his parents, and how that's bad. But his kind of like resolution about that is just kind of like, oh well.
It's kind of a like like maybe I am like pretty fucked up. Maybe I should be worried about that.
And then he's like, maybe I should have dreamed of somebody like you, like somebody like Tohru, who I wonder like what is that? What is it about her? I feel like I intrinsically understand what he's talking about, but what is it about her personality that is just like the opposite of Akito's, that he's like, what is it that's frustrating about Akito?
Yeah, I feel like in a way it's like someone who would make me better instead of like worse, because it's kind of talking about how like the part where like Hatori says like stop competing with someone younger than you to be who's most stubborn. It's like like they definitely kind of like bring out the worst in each other whenever we see them together.
Definitely, we've said that before. Said it before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah, but we can like this is the first time we've seen like Shigure show some like frustration with that situation.
Yeah, normally he seems to be kind of like, well, like I'm not going to be the one who gives in first and then like leaves. But this time,
like it always seemed like he got some like enjoyment out of the like contests between them.
It does seem like that, but then it seems like this time when he left, he was really upset about what happened, I think, as opposed to some other, satisfied emotion or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he particularly enjoyed the other times, but I think he felt like he accomplished something, and this time it was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like he was able to like at least tell himself that like it was fine and like something was happening, but like at this point he seems like frustrated that like they've been stuck in this way for a while.
Yeah, and he's like, I wish you would just like move on from this.
Yeah, which is like it ends with him like having the narration where he's like, I wish you'd hurry up and join us. Like obviously about Akito, which is interesting coming off of like the recent chapters where we've talked about like things are happening and like changes and chances are occurring and stuff. So it's like he's like, stuff is moving fast now and you're still like sitting still.
Yeah. And also his like, I feel like you can interpret his actions toward her as like being like her chance to have some kind of connection. Because it's interesting that this chapter that ends on, it's kind of like Shigure narrated and focused, and it ends on Tohru and Kyo together. Model relationship, obviously. But like, I guess you could interpret it as being like, I wish you'd hurry up and join us, like the people who want to make changes or, whatever.
Yeah, especially if we're comparing, like if we take the maybe I should have dreamed of you line to be like a relationship where we make each other better, which is a relationship that like Tohru and Kyo mostly seem to have.
I think that's true. I think you could say that. You don't even have to say mostly. You could just say they have it. I mean, yeah, for sure. They definitely don't have a relationship that makes each other better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like Akito's kind of like in this rut right now where every time Akito sees Shigure, they're always doing it's like the same, seems to be the same old song and dance, it's like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting to see a little bit more about Shigure because he's also, I think I said at the very beginning of this podcast that I wanted to learn more about Shigure and I wish there was kind of like more about him. So this is like his chance.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is the most like we get for like from his perspective of himself and everything that's going on around him. So.
Which is interesting because it's so little. But
yeah.
The next note that I have is Momiji's glow up. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. It's like it's happened.
It's happened. He's tall now. It's funny because like if you look earlier in the same volume, he's still small. Like he's still wearing his like the girl's uniform. Oh wait, let me look. It was during the when they're all talking about the future.
I don't think it's in this Tokyo Pop volume.
Maybe it was the one before. But it's like it wasn't that long ago, is what I'm trying to say. It's suddenly he tall.
Yeah.
It was cute. But he's still the same with his bunny backpack and whatnot.
Yeah. It's funny, you can see him carrying the backpack in like one of the earlier scenes before you see who it is.
Typical Takaya situation where it's like the same thing happening in the background or whatever.
Yeah.
I enjoy.
We kind of get so we kind of get confirmation of his feelings for Tohru too, which has also been implied before.
I was right. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows, but yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, where I guess earlier he made a couple of like jabs at Kyo about that, but this time he was like, yeah, then Tohru will accept when I propose to her, and Kyo's like, what the fuck? Like, internally. Yeah, and he also said, like, oh, I could get away with more when I was small, but I am a man after all. And so then he holds her hand. It's like, you sly motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing all this time. I like that Kyo, in this chapter, he's like, does everybody know? It's like, it's not like it wasn't obvious. I don't have that many other things to say about his Momiji getting taller and whatever. It's just like, it's a good catalyst for him to everybody's trying to get him to deal with his feelings about Tohru.
Yeah.
And then it lets us talk about the cat, not giving up on the cat, which we've discussed for a couple times in the last couple of episodes, I'm sure. So that also happened.
Yeah. I always like this conversation with Momiji and Kyo. Because, like, we've always known, like, Momiji is, like, much more incisive than he acts. So it's a moment where he kind of, like, he, like, totally drops the, like cheerful childish thing for a couple seconds while he's talking to Kyo, and he's like jabbing at him about Tohru, and then like being very serious about the cat stuff.
Yeah, it's like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And then he's like, bye, I'm gonna go make dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. He does do that. He's especially sassy with Kyo, I think. Well, not sassy, but he's especially like, Kyo, get your shit together.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've always had kind of a like mutually tormenting each other kind of relationship. So
yeah, for sure.
This is kind of a like slightly more matured version of that.
Yeah. It's like, I know when I'm going to be an asshole to Kyo.
Yeah.
I like that Hiro also brings it up, where Hiro is like, well, that can't happen.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I saw that I'm against it. It's just that I'm like, I don't know, worried or whatever. Like,
yeah. It's cute.
It is. Hiro's a good boy. We talked about this.
I also like how Yuki's like, is it bad if he likes her? Like,
he's like, will someone confirm my feelings that it's bad? I mean,
yeah. Like Haru being like, you go out of the way to say the things that everyone else is avoiding.
I like how Haru and Yuki just like stare at him for a second, which is also great. The panel where after he says that, and you're like, really?
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Like, after, like, we've had several chapters recently about people kind of, like, tiptoeing around the whole idea of the cat being locked away. And you're just like, well, crap, the cat's gonna be. And then they just stare at him.
Like I said before about Hiro, from the mouth of babes.
Yes.
Also, like, it's interesting, too, because Yuki and Haru were there when they were talking to Shisho about it, about Rin, a couple of chapters ago, too. So now it's like, they're like, oh, this again? Like, you could tell.
Yeah.
It's like when a kid asks you a super awkward question and you just, like, freeze and you're like,
yeah,
I don't know what to do. And then, you know.
Yeah. Also, I like this ghosty panel when, like, Haru's talking to him. He's holding a rice cooker.
Yes. Speaking of rice cookers.
Yes. I'm jealous.
Someday your rice cooker will come.
Yes.
You're like, I'm wishing for a rice cooker. And I'm dreaming of the nice tune it will play.
It's very nice.
Ha 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 ha. It's Snow White, of course. There's a lot of good ghosty panel. Yeah, he's holding the rice cooker. Actually, I think he's holding the big pot. I don't know.
Maybe. They use both, so.
They do. The rice cooker's out on the porch, which I also thought was cute when they... I love how Shigure describes it as, like, food relief, which is really
yeah.
I was like, oh, they are, like, cooking a big pot of, like, soup in the yard, of curry in the yard. Yeah,
you see her in, like, a couple panels earlier, kind of, like, rummaging through the cooking equipment.
After he decided not to burn the table, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, it's Yuki and Hiro that are horrified at that.
They have a similar personality in that way. Yes.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Hiro is the responsible one for a child. Now that he's an older brother, he has to be responsible. You know?
Yes. He's more responsible than many of the older Somas.
Yes. Yeah. And wasn't as destructive of property.
Yeah.
Are there any other non-spoilery things that to talk about?
Just that I really enjoy Rin and Kagura's relationship, even though we've only seen like 3 panels of it.
Well, this is the second time. The first time was when she was leaving Kagura's house, and Kagura was like, "Are you going out?" And she was like, "Bite me," and left. Yeah. I can't remember exactly what she said.
Like, Kagura's like, "Should we stay up all night and argue?"
And then it's like, "Fuck off." If her dialogue wasn't rated PG-13, that's what she would be saying.
Yeah. She's just like, it's so nice to have children in the house.
Yes. I love Kaku's suggestion standpoint arguing. That's really funny.
Yeah. That's not actually what Shisha says, but it is what Ayame says earlier. He's like, oh, it's so lively here.
Yes.
Like they're both just like, oh, it's so wonderful to have children around.
Yes. They're all such fine young lads and lasses now.
Yeah.
They can have cute interactions. Remember how cold and weird Yuki was at the beginning of the series?
Yeah. Yuki and his rat army.
Yeah. Oh god. Don't remind me. I purposely blocked that out. Every time I reread it, I'm like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Why is he being such a creep? And Shigure is like, see you later. No big deal.
He just doesn't know how to people yet.
He only knows how to rat.
Yes.
My rat army.
Yeah. He's only been people for like a couple years at that point.
Yes. Barely, because I think he just got out of the house.
Yeah.
For high school, right? So. Lol. All right. So that's it for non-spoilers. Okay, good. So next time we're going to talk about chapters 112 and 113, I suppose.
That would make sense.
Yep, that's what's next. We don't jump around like the anime, so whatever. All right. If you're not sticking around for spoilers, thank you all for listening. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So spoilers.
Yes.
I mean, there's not a lot to spoil. It's like
I had one specific one and one kind of vague concept.
Let's hear it.
So the specific one is when Momiji's having his conversation with Kyo. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm going to stop giving up on the cat. Mm-hmm. And there's the image of the woman that I believe is Kyo's mom.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which later when he like confronts his dad, he like has like a memory of like his thoughts of his mom and saying that like he didn't want her to give up on herself, and then saying he's not going to give up on himself anymore. So
nice.
Yeah, so this conversation is obviously has an impact on his thoughts.
Mm-hmm. I did notice that it was his mom. I didn't realize that that's what she says later, so that's cool. Or that's what he thinks later when he's talking to his dad. So interesting.
Yeah, I was like, is that his mom? And I was like,
sure
let me look up that chapter. I think there was something significant. So,
yeah. Good, very good. I just saw it and I was like, that's his mom. Weird. He has a lot of hang-ups around that, and then moved on.
Yeah. Yeah, he has this like long like inner monologue about like how like he didn't like fully understand what he was thinking as a kid or whatever, but saying like he didn't want her to give up on herself, and then like out loud he says like to his dad that he's gonna stop giving up on himself.
Nice. That's cool. I didn't realize.
Asshole dad.
Yeah, I know. What a dick. We have even more reasons to hate him after the last, 2 chapters ago or something.
Yeah. He somehow managed to be, like, one of the most hateable characters in the series, even though he never actually, like, physically harms anyone, which many characters can't say.
Yeah, for sure, actually. I can't think of one person who's sympathetic to him. So.
Yeah.
Because he's such a dick. Mm-hmm. There's definitely other characters, too, like, I mean, like Momiji's dad was kind of ignores him basically now, and has his own his daughter now and whatever.
Yeah, it's like Momiji's dad isn't great, and like Rin's parents are terrible.
Yeah, they're also terrible.
Like somehow Kyo's dad is just like especially hateable.
I think it's like Kyo's dad goes out of his way to continue to be an asshole to him. Like Rin doesn't have contact with her parents. Momiji doesn't have contact with his parents. Like there's not a further. But Kyo's dad is still on a mission to confine him, and I feel like that makes it even worse, where he's like...
Yeah, he's just like, this is a mass text, Kyo's a monster.
Send it to all your friends.
Yeah.
She's just like, fuck this guy. He's like, Kazuma, let's have tea, I want to discuss Kyo's future. And he just sips the tea and then is like, he's a monster. Kazuma's like, are you doing this again? Goodbye, sir.
Yeah. It's like, didn't we have this talk like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he continues, he remains, there's nothing redeeming about him, and he furthers his assholery throughout the story, so.
Yeah.
What was the vague spoiler?
Just the the whole concept of like Akito being kind of like held apart and left behind
Yeah.
by everyone, which is kind of like the crux of the like turning point for her at the end is like Toru like realizing that and reaching out to her.
Yeah.
We have the comment from Hatori in the first chapter where he says like to Akito like it doesn't matter, it's not a matter of right or wrong, people get hurt.
To Ayame, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said in the earlier chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like in the ending, like one of Toru's conversations with Akito has her saying that like it doesn't matter, like even if I was like, even if it was like the right thing to do, I was still like hurting you.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. You're right. I think that both of these things that you mentioned, they both are themes that come up, or like they're related to these like a running themes throughout the series. So like the first one of Akito, whatever, it's like hurry up and join us, or you can't join us, or whatever. It's like who's in and who's out sort of theme, and like that sort of runs through. I think it's just interesting to see something from Shigure's like perspective and internal monologue that ties into that.
Yeah.
And then the other one isn't also an interesting catch, people getting hurt. It's like sometimes things are not necessarily right and wrong or like black and white, but people sometimes get hurt, and
Yeah.
like Shigure said, sometimes that's important for your growth as a person. You have to get hurt.
Yeah.
And you have to hurt other people to be a person living in the world.
Yeah.
And like I feel like with the Akito thinks that everything is like that everything should be perfect all the time, and like has this kind of like, she can't get hurt, and like the people shouldn't be doing things that hurt her personally.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ayame was like kind of the inverse of that, where it's just like nothing he did was wrong. It was just like whatever, he did whatever he thought, and like did whatever impulsively, and didn't think about his actions. So it's kind of like the opposite approach.
Yeah.
So in a way, they're kind of thematically linked together, which is kind of interesting because I don't know, I never really thought about Ayame and Akito being like in a similar situation in this story. So.
Yeah.
At all.
And I like that. Yeah. And I like the line from Shigure like at the beginning of that chapter where he says like what is like if you just sit in there like sulking, the world is going to turn into what you want it to be. Or...
Yes. I also liked that.
Yeah. Also
very Akito. Yeah.
She's like, maybe.
She's like, just watch me. And then Shigure leaves. And is like, ugh. And Corinne was like, can you guys stop fighting? I don't like being an awkward third wheel.
Yeah.
What he needs to do is go and visit Ayame's shop.
Yeah.
And then Mine will dress him up in a maid suit, a maid outfit. Nice. That's cool. I liked that there were things that were kind of spoiled by this chapter. Because it felt like also not like a culmination, but just kind of like a hey, here's some things that are happening like chapter. So
yeah,
it's nice it's still kind of related to these overall themes, as you pointed out.
And it was nice to get some lighthearted moments because I glanced at the next volume and shit's about to go down.
Shit's getting real.
Yeah. Like I think we enter the end game in next volume.
Well, there's only 3 left.
Yeah.
Or 4, I guess, because it would be 20, 21, 22, and 23, right? So it's happening.
Yeah. Because we get like everything starts happening because we get like Kyo's quote unquote confession.
Toru's confession.
Murder. And then Toru's confession, and then like all the aftermath of that, and
multiple types of confessions. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Akito.
Which all connects and
rocks while everyone dies.
Yeah.
Rocks while no one dies. Then we can talk about the first spoiler for the series, which was Toru's tent was next to the cliff. I loved how they had the flashback in the anime to her outside the tent, and I was like, that's right, they put it dramatically close to the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was like glancing at those like ending chapters, and, like in her very first episode. It's like, so how about that? Those landslides.
Yeah. I know. How about that? Oh, that tent. Such a poor choice.
She got it on sale.
It's still ridiculous and great. That's what makes it wonderful. Okay, good. I think we're out of things to talk about. All right. Next time we're going to talk about... Oh, let's see what's coming up next. I mean, you just said everything's coming, which is true.
Yeah.
But...
Next is the Komaki stuff.
Meat Angel's coming, everyone.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
She's on the back of this volume eating meat, which is
Remember
funny.
how we
Because
were
like Kakeru's on the front of the volume, and then the back is like a little chibi Komaki.
Yes, we were just
meat.
talking about what their little... I said that the student council should have symbols in a couple episodes ago, and proposed several ridiculous ones for all of them. But their symbol... So like this one... So Kakeru's is Komaki eating meat, and then on Machi's it's footprints in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, oh, those were the symbols that were picked. I see. Whatever mine were that I said several episodes ago, I think they were better. Although Meat Angel's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think they would be better for like if we were putting little symbols in dialogue in the series, but
yes, that's what I wanted them for.
Yeah, but they work well for their little page flip.
Yeah, their little
symbols,
thingies. I don't know what you call
like thing associated with them.
Thematic illustrations.
I think Akito's volume just has her flower.
The flower. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's all coming up. I guess we'll talk about some of it next time. We'll talk about Komaki next time. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And the mysterious man with the tie, otherwise known as Black. I mean, right? I mean,
yeah.
That's how it goes.
As, wow, he used to be a dick.
He's still kind of a dick, but he's learning.
He's a self-aware dick now.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, Yuki, you need to show me your self-awareness ways.
Yeah.
I need you to teach me.
Teach me to be less of a dick.
I beg of you. I mean, all right, good. Next time. We'll see you next time for 112 and 113. Yeah, that.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I remembered it for a second. That's fine. Hello, it's Ellen. If you want to send us a question, you can find us on Twitter at staytogetherpod, on Tumblr at staytogetherpodcast.tumblr.com, or you can send us an email at staytogetherpodcast@gmail.com. Kayla and I want to keep creating podcasts and keep them ad-free, so if you like what you're listening to, please consider giving to our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/staytogethernetwork. Thank you always for listening and for all your support. We'll see you next time.